The latest. Thank you for your love and support. I appreciate you all. We either perish or we unite now. On February 14, 2026, a truck carrying 18 Ghanaian tomato traders was ambushed in Titao. 8 lives were stolen while the world looked on with pity. Kwesi Pratt Jr. looked with fury. In a bombshell revelation, February 25, 2026, Pratt has declared this was not a random act of terror. This was a supplied operation. Pratt isn't just speculating, he is alleging that the terrorists who slaughtered our mothers and sisters were supplied and guided by the Ukrainian armed forces. How did the war in Eastern Europe reach the markets of Accra? Kwesi Pratt argues that Ukraine has effectively abandoned the exclusive defense of its own territory to open a second front in Africa by providing intelligence satellite technology and drones to insurgents in the Sahel. Ukraine is trying to bleed its enemies on African soil. The result? Africa has become a laboratory for foreign weapons. Ghanaian traders, innocent people just trying to feed their families, have become the collateral damage of a European grudge. Kwesi Pratt links this tragedy to our greatest historical wound, the division of Africa. He argues that because we remain a fragmented house, any foreign power, whether from the west or the east, feels entitled to walk into our continent and cause havoc. For centuries, we have been told that our poverty is our own fault. But as Pratt points out, our instability is often a prescription written by those who poison us in the first place. The fact that Ukraine intelligence can operate in our backyard to destabilize the alliance of the Sahel states, AES, is a proof that Africans' borders are still being treated like open doors for foreign agendas.
The terrorists who killed the Ghanaian woman going to buy tomatoes were supplied by Ukraine. And this is not a rumor. The Ukrainian intelligence itself has admitted that it's involved in the terrorist activities in the Sahel. Comrades and friends, any country that is subverting the Sahel states is our enemy. Any country that is fighting the people of the Sahel, determined to wage a struggle so that they can control their resources, cannot be our ally, cannot be our friends. And that is why I like to call on the Mahama administration to look sharp. I feel so sad because our leaders, these leaders of ours, these useless leaders of ours, are sitting down with their arms folded, not doing anything, making fine speeches, which would not send oil to Havana. It is time for us to stand up in firm solidarity with Cuba. It is time for us to put pressure on our government to break the sanctions against Cuba. And I mean it. Why should we break the sanctions against Cuba? We should break the sanctions against Cuba because if Cuba was afraid of sanctions, Cuba internationalist forces would not have fought in Angola to liberate Angola, to overthrow apartheid, and to pave the way for the independence of Namibia. We should behave like the Cubans and not be frightened by sanctions, to break these sanctions, to do everything in our power to ensure that the senseless blockade of Cuba will be dismantled. And if we do that, it will be in our collective interest. Only last week, there was this news report about French soldiers coming here to teach us how to fight Galamsey. And I'm wondering, French soldiers, what do they know about Galamsey? What the hell do French soldiers know about Galamsey? You see, the hanky-panky games we are playing with Western militaries in Ghana is not in our interest. It is not in the interest of West Africa and cannot be in the interest of Africa. And it is time for us as Ghanaian people to tell our government that the time has come to dismantle the U.S. military base in Ghana. The time has come to tell them we are very, very happy. I am very, very happy that the name of the airport has been changed to Accra International Airport. But it is not for the same reason that some of the actors who changed the name have. Because I listened to my majority leader in Parliament. And his reason is that the people of Accra gave the land, and therefore the airport should be known as Accra International Airport. Rubbish. That is not the reason why we support the change of name. We support the change of name because Kotoka International Airport represents a glorification of the subversion of our national sovereignty by a foreign power, not because the people of Accra gave the land. We support the name because it's a distortion of our history. That is why we support the name change. In any case, I'm happy that on this 60th anniversary, that name is gone forever.
The cost of this foreign interference is paid at the dinner table. With the suspension of tomato imports from Burkina Faso, every Ghanaian is now paying a war tax on their food. Pratt's message is clear. When foreign forces subvert the Sahel, they are subverting Ghana's economy. He warns that any country aiding those who fight against the people of the Sahel who are only trying to control their own resources cannot be an ally of Ghana. They are adversaries. Kwesi Pratt's revelation is a call to arms for the mind. He is demanding that we stop being the grass where the elephants fight. He is calling for a united African shield that rejects all foreign interference, Ukraine or otherwise. The era of Africa being a playground for proxy war is over. As Pratt said, we must stop taking medicine from those who poison us. It is time to heal Ukraine using Africa to fight its battle, or is it part of a deeper global conspiracy? Drop your thoughts in the comment. And this is one thing we always call our leaders to. Let's stop allowing these people to have access to whatever that they need. If Ukraine, Zelensky cannot defend his people, look at the number of people that they said Ukraine has lost. Yet, Ukraine cannot use the intelligence, the power, the surveillance, and every technology that they claim they have. Any technology they claim they have to protect the lives of the Ukrainians from the Russians. Yet, Ukraine can leave all their people that are losing their lives, crying every blessed day to come into Africa to cause havoc to our own people. The tomato sellers in Ghana are Africans, and we cannot pay the price of Ukraine failing not to be able to defend itself from Russia. Whatever that is happening is as a result of the love that we have for Russia. But this isn't going to change our strength, our love, our support for the people that are there to make sure the African is totally free. Russia isn't here to carry the resources out of our continent. Russia has always been there to support us, so together we can stand on our feet, so we can protect the resources that we have here. And this is not the first time we are seeing that Ukraine is doing this. Some time back it was in Mali, where they claim that they were the ones who provided the intelligence to the people to cause the havoc that happened in Mali. And now it is in Burkina Faso. And the people that paid dearly are our mothers, our sisters, who are only going to look for their daily bread. And this is how the people of the West continue to divide Africa, because the African has refused to unite. We are being treated this way because we are refusing to see ourselves as one people. When A is not accepting them, B will. And at the end of the day, our leaders also sit in African Union, SADC, ANC, and all the regional blocs to be talking about African unity. If we are not ready to see ourselves as one people and do away with the borders, how do we start trading among ourselves? We talk about free trade area. In which way? When we still protect the borders of the colonizer. The time is now. It's either we unite or we perish forever. And we need African Union to act based on this information that Kwesi Pratt is giving. This is not a time for African Union to come and sweet quote words. We need this organization to at least investigate. And if it is true, Ukraine must be brought to book. Africa cannot be a playground. If they have anything with Russia, it should remain in Eastern Ukraine. Eastern Europe. They should fight among themselves there and not to turn us into other things in order to save themselves. And what they are doing is just to create enmity among us. And that MPP minister, the former Minister of Defense, Dominic Nuttall, per the information given, now you know that it isn't because you invited the president of Burkina Faso, Captain Ibrahim Traore, are all in all the savior into Ghana for John Mahama's inauguration. That is why you are having these insurgencies. The reason to which Africa will continue to have these activities in our borders is because we have refused to see ourselves as one people. And even the speech that you gave shows that Africans, we are still not ready to unite. And politics should be taken out of the unity of Africa. Until we start speaking the language of Africa, we'll continue to be slaves to the people who are oppressing us. We are the only ones that can set ourselves free. United we stand, divided we fall. And united we keep standing forever and ever. The greatest enemy of the African is mental slavery. So let's decolonize ourselves from mental slavery. Let's keep sharing to educate our brothers and sisters. Together we'll make Africa great for ourselves and the next generations that are going to come. So that's the latest around the world in Africa, West Africa, and in Ghana.